I am back from northern Minnesota, cabin country, looking to get back in the swing of things, get back into that normal routine in terms of making videos. Going to start first with my reaction to the first college football playoff rankings as it pertains to the Big Ten Conference. We start at number 22, the Iowa Hawkeyes. Iowa, the one big win that they've had was against Penn State. Penn State has since dropped out of the top 25, at least in the college football playoff edition. And they're not looking as impressive as maybe we originally thought they were earlier on in the season. Besides that, Iowa doesn't exactly have a marquee win outside of Penn State. You look at Iowa State, not what we thought. You look at Indiana, not what we thought, although they were top 20 in the country when Iowa played the Hoosiers. And you look at these last 2 weeks, their offense has been virtually non-existent. That first half, they had -1 yards on the ground against Wisconsin. Given the Badgers are a great defense, especially against the run, but this Iowa offense is doing absolutely nothing. I said in the beginning of the year, took a lot of heat from Iowa fans and said, you're wrong, you're stupid. But I said at the beginning of the year, this defense is not sustainable. And I said it early, and then, they kept on doing it. I'm like, maybe they're just going to keep on doing it. But now that they're not, it started with the Purdue game. With the Purdue game, they couldn't force turnover, they couldn't 3-4, give their offense short fields. And when that happened, you saw what happened against Purdue. You saw what happened against Wisconsin. These are disciplined football teams. When Iowa has played them, their offense can't match things if their defense can't give them short fields, and hell, even the defense scoring touchdowns of their own. Iowa could lose a couple more games, to be honest with you, the rest of the season. Very low on the Hawkeyes right now. Obviously, you got to keep them in the top 25. There's a chance they could be outside of the CFP top 25 at the end of the season. That being said, they still control their own destiny in the West. But the question is, will they have enough offense to be West Division champions? Let's stick in the Big Ten West for the next two. Number 21, Wisconsin. Earlier on in the season, ranked high, they were the West Division favorites coming into the year. True freshman Braylon Allen has been the difference as of late. Now you've got a two-headed monster back there at running back, Braylon Allen and Chez Mellusi. Allen is actually the 1A to Mellusi's 1B right now, where it looked like Chez would be the workhorse earlier on in the season. Look, they're getting back to Wisconsin football, right? All these years under Barry, under Brett Bielema, they run the football, quarterback's a game manager, good offensive line, and a really good defense. It's Badger football, right? And Paul Chryst knows the formula. They're taking the ball out of the hands of Graham Mertz. Early on in the season, Mertz has turned the football over. They wanted him to throw the ball down the field, make some plays. Now these last few games, these Army games, this Purdue game, these Iowa games, they're taking the ball out of his hands and only throwing it when they have to throw it. They're leaning on that running game. And it's been pretty successful for them thus far. That's the key. If you run into an opponent that's going to stifle your running game, the Badgers could run into trouble. But right now, I like them where they're at right now. They're in the high 20s at 21. They do control their own destiny in the Big Ten West. I think Wisconsin is starting to get it together. That defense is looking really good right now. That running game now, you got two guys you got to worry about in that running game. But one of these games, you got to think Graham Mertz is going to have to make a few plays to win football games. And it could be against the team that I'm about to talk about. One spot ahead of them, Minnesota at number 20. This is an interesting one. I'm a Gopher fan. I am 20 minutes that way from the University of Minnesota campus. So when I look at this Minnesota, they got a bad loss to Bowling Green. And they don't really have a super duper marquee win right now. Nebraska, Purdue, not great in terms of the marquee win column. They have chances with Wisconsin and Iowa still on their schedule. But when I look at Minnesota, what a job PJ Fleck has done. And I personally think they're a little overranked right now. I think I would have had them maybe at the back end 24, 25, and they could beat those teams and prove themselves. But hey, Gopher fans, I'm sure, will take it right there at number 20 in the country. Bryce Williams just lost for the season. That's the third running back the Gophers have lost with a season-ending injury. But still, Kai Thomas and Marquise Irving back there, they're good enough. They're good enough, and that offensive line is good enough. I look at it a lot like Wisconsin. Maybe eventually Tanner Morgan is going to have to win him a football game. Can they do that? This is a Minnesota team that's banged up, but they've got the running backs, they got the offensive line in place that are looking pretty good right now to be able to be a good football team. They might not win the West, but I think at the end of the season they might be ranked, and I think they're going to be a good football team. Couple of weeks from now, they're going to take on Iowa on the road at Kinnick, and we might end up just like 2019 with Wisconsin and Minnesota playing head-to-head for a shot to go to Indianapolis. I like the Gophers right now, and I just want to see a little bit of balance. I wanted to see balance from Michigan, though, earlier in the season. And, they proved, even in a loss against Michigan State, that they can throw the football around. So, we'll see. Maybe they don't need it right now, but I like Minnesota. Maybe a little bit high, but I think they'll eventually prove their rank in this region of the poll. So we're going to skip all the way ahead now to number 7, the Michigan Wolverines. Michigan being at number 7. What does this tell me? It tells me they still got a shot at the playoff. The East, and we'll talk about the East here, they still got a shot at the college football playoff. And with that loss to Michigan State, they need Michigan State to still do well, finish, 10-2, 9-3 type of season. But Michigan, they win out. I honestly believe they're in the college football playoff. Right now, it's a very achievable situation right now at 7 for the Wolverines if they're able to win out with Ohio State at number 5. And I think the Buckeyes, are going to leapfrog. I think they'll eventually beat Michigan State there. So this is a very good situation for Michigan. When I look at their talent roster, do I see, they're one of the top 4 teams in the country? I don't think so. But sometimes that's not how it works. Sometimes it's about winning football games when other teams lose football games. And right now, Michigan is right there. I think they're going to learn from that loss against Michigan State. Remember, that game against Ohio State is in Ann Arbor this season. I saw what Penn State did against Ohio State. Maybe Michigan can replicate some of that, maybe even more in that last game of the season. Big Ten East is going to be fun. Let's go to number 5, Ohio State. Things are in front of them, right? They play Michigan State, who's at number 3 in these rankings. Spoiler alert, I'm sure you've heard it already. But Ohio State is in a situation, they've gotten better on defense, but still got a few holes sneaking around on the defensive side of the football at Ohio State University. Is this a team that can outscore teams? Penn State proved that this Ohio State offense is human and they can be held to single digits in the first half, which is exactly what happened against Penn State. So can some of these defenses, the Michigan States and the Michigans of the world, can they hold down Ohio State enough? As for Ohio State, they're in that same boat, right? All these teams in the Big Ten East are in the same boat. Let's take a look at the final one. Michigan State at number 3, a big-time win over Michigan last Saturday. Peyton Thorne is going to have to play better. How long can they ride Kenneth Walker? I think Kenneth Walker can have a huge day against the Ohio State defense. I think Kenneth Walker can have a pretty good day against the Penn State defense. Maybe this is a Michigan State team that can lean on their running game as the season goes on. And maybe it's enough. I think they're going to lose. I think they're going to lose once. I think they might lose twice. But what a job Mel Tucker has done. And as I see that now, I see things laying out in the Big Ten East. It seems to me in the Big Ten, you got Badgers and Gophers over here. You got Buckeyes and Wolverines over there. I honestly think those 2 games are going to be division championship games at the end of the season. What do you guys think? You think these teams were ranked in the right spots? High, low, underrated, overrated? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe for Big Ten football content. I'm Big Ten Ted, and we'll see you in the next one.